Good afternoon, Niner fans. Happy Monday, Victory Monday, I guess. It's been a victory weekend. The 49ers are still 3-0. They didn't have a game this weekend because they played on Thursday Night Football. And as we know, they defeated the New York Giants 30-12. And guess what? 49ers are playing the Arizona Cardinals this Sunday, coming up on week 4. And guess what? The Arizona Cardinals are fresh off a victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Wow. What a weekend. If the Arizona Cardinals don't win any more games, I'm sure they'll be happy to know that they defeated the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they can tank the rest of the season, and they can still have a victory over the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Everybody was talking about best team in the league, best defense. Oh, my God. They're just so dynamic, and everybody was sitting here saying they're going to be better than the Niners. Now, I get it. We can't overlook the Cardinals because they did just beat the Cowboys, and they went pretty much down to the wire with the Giants. The Cardinals have a lot of heart, and the 49ers play them, and it is going to be a division game, right? It is always a tough time to play a division game. You know, no matter who the opponent is, you throw the records out of the book, and, you know, these teams, they come and they bring their best because they want to play spoilers sometimes, or, you know, that's just how these division games. But looking at the Cardinals, they ran all over the Cowboys. They ran for 222 yards against the mighty Dallas Cowboys defense. I don't think the 49ers are going to allow 222 rushing yards against this defense. But again, the key was James Conner. He ran for 98 yards on 14 carries. Now, again, we can look ahead to the Cowboys, and if the Cardinals were able to get 222 yards, I can't imagine what the 49ers are going to do, but we can't look ahead yet because it's week by week, one game at a time, and the 49ers are trying to make sure they secure that number 1 seed this year, and it starts this week with the Arizona Cardinals. Joshua Dobbs, you know, he's been around the league for the last couple of years. He's kind of bounced around Pittsburgh, Tennessee. He might have found a home with the Arizona Cardinals over there. You know, he's the backup quarterback right now, but with Kyler Murray out, Joshua Dobbs has been playing, you know, a decent you know, he showed a decent ability to play some football. Now, is he an elite quarterback? No, but, you know, Arizona's beaten the 49ers with the likes of Colt McCoy before, so you can't take anybody lightly. They got some decent receivers. I'd say more than decent. You know, Rondale Moore, they got Marquise Brown, so they got some guys with some explosiveness, and they have Zach Ertz. He's a good tight end. So it's not like the Cardinals are lacking talent. It's just they're not an elite team, you know. So I still think it'll be a game where the 49ers can't sleep. You don't want to underestimate any opponent, and especially this week. You can't look ahead to the Dallas Cowboys, which I know the 49ers are really excited to play that game. I think all the fans are, but we cannot overlook Arizona. You can't let this be a trap game. But I think with Arizona beating Dallas, I think that really opened the eyes of the 49ers and said, okay, we really need to make sure that we are highly prepared. We can't take this game lightly because the Niners want to be 4-0 heading into week 5 to play the Dallas Cowboys. That is a huge matchup. And if the 49ers can defeat the Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals and start 5-0, that is a very great start to the season. And it means their chances of being the number 1 seed can be very, very high at this point. So, again, hopefully the 49ers can keep plugging out these wins. The last time the 49ers started 3-0 was 2019. And you remember what happened that year? We made it to the Super Bowl. This year, I think the quarterback situation is a lot better. But we'll talk about Brock Purdy as the stream goes on. Christine says, we can't sleep on any team. You're absolutely right. This 49ers throwback says, how's it going? I'm feeling good. The 49ers, again, they came into the weekend not having to worry about anything because they handled business on Thursday night. And it was nice having a mini bye week, watching all the games, you know, enjoying other teams struggling, seeing the Cowboys lose like everybody else enjoyed it. But it was just nice to be home, relax, watch the games. And, you know, you get to kind of see what the league is up to. I mean, you still do during Sundays when the Niners play, but it's so much harder sometimes for me, at least, to focus on other games when there's so much, you know, content going live and this and that. Sometimes I miss things. So it was really nice to just focus up on a whole weekend of football. And, you know, you get to get your observations. So obviously we all know the 49ers are playing the Cardinals, but there's a couple of other observations. So tonight there's 2 games. You got the Rams and the Bengals. You have the Eagles and the Buccaneers, 2 undefeated teams, right? Who is going to stay undefeated with the 49ers, because there's only a few undefeated teams right now, and that is the Miami Dolphins, the San Francisco 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But of course, the Bucs or the Eagles, one of those teams won't be undefeated anymore. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins, 70 points. They dropped 70 points. They could have scored more, but Mike McDaniel had a little mercy. He gave him a little mercy at the end. He had the foot on the throat. And he let go because he didn't want to. I mean, 70 points is already enough. That's a lot of points. They have a souped-up version of the 49ers offense. Shout out to Mike McDaniel. He's a product of, Kyle Shanahan and everything, and seeing him succeed is pretty cool. And DeMeco Ryans got his first career victory as a head coach. Kudos to him. Awesome to see that. I love DeMeco, man. I'm wishing nothing but success for the guy. So, yeah, Raheem had a game. 4 touchdowns. Shout out to my boy. And then my man, 49ers throwback, says, "Look, the Cowboys beat the Giants 40-0. And that's what everybody was saying last week. It was funny because everybody was doubting the 49ers after beating the Giants on Thursday night on a short week. Like, it was a short week. 49ers still scored 30 points. Like, it was still a very strong victory. And that's what I said last week after, the Giants game. I said I felt like the 49ers beating the Giants was still a very strong performance. Now, I get it. A lot of people expected more points. But the fact of the matter is it was a short week. We've talked about this already. Not a lot of time to prepare. And the 49ers still put up 30 points. They got into the red zone many times. I feel like they just, didn't have, not having Brandon Ayuk kind of hurt their red zone offense a little bit, but they still knocked down those field goals. They still were able to put the ball in the end zone when they needed to in crunch time situations. And the defense had 2 interceptions. They made Danny Dimes, have a very disastrous day, really, if you think about it. So 30-12 is nothing to write home about, And again, I get it. The Giants, oh no, they lost 40-0 to the Cowboys. But hey, that same Cowboys team lost to the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm excited to see what the 49ers are going to do to the Cardinals. If they go out there and they crush them, the Cowboys fans got a lot of explaining to do. They got a lot to think about, because after that, then the Cowboys have to come and play the 49ers, the mighty 49ers. The mighty 49ers in Levi Stadium. I cannot wait for that one. What's up, Jimmy? Observe says, Cowboys drank their own Kool-Aid, but they aren't the ones we played this week. One game at a time, yeah. So we honestly, I agree with that. As much as we want to get and talk about the Cowboys, we can't yet. We can't. The Niner fans, the Niner players, everybody, the coaches, see, everybody wants to, everybody's tracking towards the Cowboys, but we got to stay focused and focus up on the Cardinals, because you can't take any team lightly. Winning in the NFL is very tough. It is not an easy task to do. So the 49ers have to stay focused and continue to build upon a strong start to the season. I think the mini bye week literally was the best thing to happen for the 49ers. You get that game out of your system, you win, you get the weekend to rest, and I think it did a good job for these guys. Brandon Ayuk was back at practice today. They had a bonus practice, but the 49ers were taking a very serious approach this season. They were very cautious. Deebo Samuel, who's dealing with, rib soreness, Dre Greenlaw, and Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, they were held out today. They didn't practice. It was a bonus practice. And again, they're dealing with some minor injuries, ankle sprains for Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles and Dre Greenlaw, and rib soreness for Deebo Samuel. Those guys were all held out. But again, it was just a bonus extra practice. They had all weekend to kind of relax and heal up. So I don't think it's going to be any issue leading up to the game. The first big practice of the week is Wednesday. But it is good news to see Brandon Ayuk was out there today practicing in a bonus practice today. So that tells me that, he'll be ready to go once the weekend rolls around. So I think this team's relatively going to be very healthy, and that's a big thing. The 49ers right now, they're 3-0, but they're healthy. Haven't had really any major injuries. We had the Brandon Ayuk scare a couple, weeks ago, but he was held out, and the 49ers were able to win, without Brandon Ayuk. So they avoided a major injury with Brandon Ayuk, and I think that was the best move they could have done. So right here, as we sit, the 49ers are very healthy. They got their whole squad on, deck, ready to come in on another home game and take care of business. So I just want to hope that this team continues to stay healthy. And I feel like this team right now this year is very serious, and they're doing all the things they need to do to get where they need to be, to get to that Super Bowl. They're playing smart. They're playing very aggressive when they need to. Kyle Shanahan's taken a very smart approach to this season, and I haven't seen any, over exertion and just craziness out there to lead to injuries. Again, I know Christian McCaffrey's been used a lot early in those first 2 games, but Kyle said he wanted to get Elijah Mitchell used in this last game, and he did. He got a lot of Elijah Mitchell in there. I think as the season moves forward, we're going to see a lot more Elijah Mitchell, maybe some more J.P. Mason. But it is nice to see how the 49ers are really executing, and they're mixing players in, and those role players are stepping up. On defense, Javon Kinlaw, we got to give him some credit. Javon Kinlaw is really stepping into his own this season. I got to give him a lot of respect out there. He's been healthy. He's getting pressures, and that's what we want to see from Javon Kinlaw. We want to see him contribute. So kudos to him. And then I think as the season goes on, you're going to see your superstars just get even better. Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, the duo has been really nice so far, but I think it's going to be even better for Nick Bosa as the time goes on. I mean, Nick Bosa finally getting a sack last Thursday was huge. And I think next week he's just going to go absolutely haywire. I think he's going to have a big game. And every week I think Nick Bosa is going to continue to build and build and build and build. So that's a good thing, Anthony says we should absolutely drop 40 on the Cards. Jose says, why haven't I deleted the other 49ers channel? I don't know. I'll delete it. You got to have a backup. At this point, you got to always have backup. So Key says, am I watching both games tonight? Yeah, I'll be watching both games tonight. It'll be fun. Monday night doubleheader. But I wanted to hop on YouTube and talk to the Niner fans. I haven't talked to y'all in a few days. So, Susan says, I'm hoping that Philly loses tonight. I think we all do. As Niner fans, I think we all are pulling for Baker and the Bucks, man. Key says, what is your X factor for Sunday's game? Definitely got to stop that rush because I think the Cardinals, they looked really good on the rushing department. Again, they ran for 222 yards against the Cowboys. That is crazy, man. So I think the 49ers have to be able to be stout up front. Fred Warner, this defensive line, they have to be aggressive and get to Joshua Dobbs. They got to make Joshua Dobbs very uncomfortable. So I think this front line is going to be a major key going forward. And I think the 49ers just have to stay explosive on offense and then, take away the explosive play from the Cardinals because I know they're not the greatest team, but they do have some ability to get, explosive plays. They have Hollywood Brown. He's a deep threat. That guy can hit those big-time passes, those big catches, money kind of throws. So you got to get into Joshua Dobbs' face. You got to shut down a guy like Hollywood Brown. Don't let him be explosive. And then on offense, I think the 49ers just have to continue to get the ball to their playmakers and limit turnovers, I think Brandon Ayuk coming back will be huge. He destroyed the Cardinals last year, and I think he'll do it again. And I think CMC is going to have another monster game this weekend. I have a big feeling that CMC is just going to go absolutely wild. I don't know. I feel like the 49ers might drop 40 points. I know everybody's talking about the Dolphins, and the Chiefs scored a lot of points this week too, but I have a feeling that the 49ers might drop a massive amount of points. I mean, they've scored 30 in their first 3 games. I can definitely see a 40-point game coming. They've been rested this week, a little extra few days, division game. I don't know, man. I feel like the 49ers are primed for a explosive type game. So Julia says, I love how Purdy has helped Shanahan unlock the full potential of the offense. Absolutely, man. Brock Purdy, he's poised, he moves the ball. He knows how to make the good decisions. And again, the key to this offense is distributing to the playmakers. And that's exactly what he does. He gets the ball right to these guys' hands. He's like a point guard. We've all talked about it. He's like the Magic Johnson, John Stockton, Chris Paul, whatever point guard you love, he's that point guard on this team. And I absolutely love how he's able to distribute the ball. Brock Purdy, man, he's only going to get better. And there's just so many doubters. Nick Wright, there's a lot of people that just don't believe in Brock Purdy. I don't know why. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks go through this team, and especially during the Kyle Shanahan era, like there has not really been a good quarterback under Kyle Shanahan's system. And this guy is it, man. And I think Brock could be a good quarterback on other teams. And I think that's one thing where people are going to say, oh, he's just a system guy. He's just a Kyle Shanahan guy because, oh, look at Jimmy. He's failing. Jimmy was not a good quarterback. He only was good because of the fact that Kyle Shanahan schemed everything for him. Y'all saw that Raiders game last night. Brock Purdy is a good-ass quarterback. He has intangibles that make him good. Mentally, he's good. He can process the game. It's getting slower for him as we speak, and he's just a good leader, man. He's going to be a great one when it's all said and done. I love watching the guy play. Again, the leadership qualities he has is just wild, and his ability to scan the defense is something this team has not had in a long time. Very smart guy. Very smart guy. And you need to be smart to play quarterback in the NFL. Got to put some respect on Brock Purdy's name. Yeah, he's not our problem anymore. Thank God. It's just nice. Again, I've said this many times. It's refreshing. Very refreshing not to have any quarterback drama, man. It's so nice. It's so nice. It's nice when you can pull your quarterback in the fourth quarter and you know the game is pretty much wrapped up. Oh, here comes Sam Darnold. Iced. Game is iced. You rank Brock Purdy above Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins? I think he's right there with them. I mean, he's right there with them. If you think this season, look at Kirk Cousins. He can throw the ball. He puts up great stats, but he's got Justin Jefferson to throw to. But what is his record? The thing about Kirk Cousins, I've always said it, is he puts up a nice stats every time, but he's just not going to get the job done in crunch time. Last year, they won so many one-point games. This year, they're not getting that same experience. They're not winning those one-point games. And you see the record for the Vikings, 0-3. Matt Stafford, he's a Super Bowl winner, but he's getting older. I don't think he's this elite quarterback. You got to remember, Sean McVay now helps scheme things up, just like, Kyle Shanahan schemes things up. But I think Stafford's a smart quarterback. I think Brock Purdy's ahead of those guys, honestly. I really do. And I think as the season goes on, people will realize, well, Brock is a pretty damn good quarterback. I'm excited. It's still early, but he just keeps making history every week. He makes history every single week, man. It's nice to see this young man continue to get better. But we'll see. We'll see how the season ends. I definitely think that Brock Purdy is going to continue to get 2 touchdowns every game. At least they're scoring 30 points a week. There shouldn't be no reason for him not to. Regular Kirk who wows you with some plays, and then playoff Kirk who crumbles when the pressure is on. That's true. Kirk Cousins, sometimes he'll make some nice plays. Okay, he has ability. Like Kirk Cousins has ability to play quarterback. There's no doubt about that. But when the pressure is on that man, it's like he just becomes a fish out of the water, and I don't know what happens to that. It just turns his brain into mush, and he makes bad decisions. Throwback says Jordan Love looks good out there. I'm surprised. I said it in the early of the season. I was on live on Instagram, and we did some quarterback rankings. Me and some of the other guys we go live with. I said I'm actually very intrigued to see Jordan Love. I think he's going to do well with this team. They got great players around him, and I think he's just ready. He's just, hungry. He's sat for so many years. Jordan Love is absolutely hungry to prove himself. So it's good to see a guy like Jordan Love succeed. This guy sat for so many years, but Aaron Rodgers sat for a long time because he had to wait for Brett Favre. Brett Favre was a hell of a quarterback. And finally, Aaron Rodgers comes in, and then Jordan Love had to wait. So because Aaron Rodgers is a hell of a quarterback. But, man, Green Bay, they're lucky. Right? They're lucky. They got 3 straight. I mean, if Jordan Love pans out, it's 3 straight amazing quarterbacks for them. Doesn't always happen that way. So, Eagles about to lose tonight, says 49ers Raj. I hope so. We'll see. It would be a nice night if the Eagles lose. Could you imagine Dallas and Philly losing on the same weekend and the 49ers being 3-0? Oof. Oh, man. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to say anything. We're going to let it play out. But I would love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely would love to see it. We will hope that it happens. Let's see. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend? Shout out to the chat. I'm just, trying to keep up with you guys. I always love the chat. You guys are always awesome, always engaging. So shout out to the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button for me as we continue to grow this YouTube page. I appreciate you guys for always supporting my page, my channels, my content through all platforms. So shout out to you guys. You're the best. How's everybody doing? How's everybody enjoy the weekend? Did you guys love seeing the Dallas Cowboys lose? Are you guys scared for the Arizona Cardinals? Are you guys thinking it's a trap game? What are you guys' thoughts? How are we feeling out there? Niner Faithful, talk to me. What's going on? It's Monday. Did you guys make it through your Monday today? I know I did. Appreciate you, Christine. Appreciate you, Debbie. 49ers throwbacks is Trey Lance still QB3 in Dallas. We'll see how that works out. But hey, don't have to worry about QB drama here in 49er land. I'm happy about that. Blood Moon says, I'm fiending for Sunday to roll around. Yeah, I'm ready for some Niner football. I think the good, as much as I love having a stress-free weekend and it was, nice to see the 49ers, not have to worry about, too much this weekend and just enjoying the game. It's a little different when the Niners aren't on TV and you're like itching. You're like, oh, I can't wait for the 49ers to play. So it is different when the Niners don't play. It's a little boring, but so that basically what I'm saying is I'm hyped up for this next game because it's gonna feel like by the time Sunday rolls around, it's gonna be like, man, when's the last time the 49ers played? Always, right? Throwback says it's always F Dallas. Absolutely. We always absolutely F Dallas. Absolutely. Niall says the Cards can't beat 2 playoff teams in a row. Could you imagine? Oh, there's no way Niners losing to the Cardinals, but could you imagine if they? There's no way. Beast Mode says Jimmy G held Kyle Shanahan back. Confirmed. Y'all saw the proof is in the pudding. You saw that game last night, and conveniently the man had a concussion at the end of the game, huh? Aiden O'Connell to the rescue for the Raiders. You heard it here first. Aiden O'Connell's going to come in. They're going to start winning games. Blood Moon says every game is a trap game. And I know the 49ers aren't taking anyone lightly. Cards made that reminder known this Sunday. Yeah, I think that was a good reminder for the 49ers. You can't take anybody lightly. I think it refocused them, which I'm not saying that the 49ers weren't focused coming into this week 4, but I really feel like the Cardinals beating the Cowboys obviously was a good thing because we like to see the Cowboys lose. But I think it was really good for the 49er players to say, oh, yeah, we play them next. We cannot take them lightly. We cannot overlook this team. We have the Cowboys next week. But right now, this week, the focus is on Arizona. And I really feel like the 49ers have done a good job on staying focused week to week. And that's sometimes not easy to do in the NFL. Because I know sometimes you get these like big matchups that you're so excited to play. Like maybe you have family that's played for another team or rooted for another team or it's just a big matchup and you want to prove yourself, or it's like a big primetime game. Sometimes those games linger in your head, but you have to stay focused on the week ahead of you. You can't think ahead, and sometimes it is very difficult. I know that for a fact, and I sometimes as a fan, I'm like always thinking ahead. I'm like, oh, look at this game. I can't wait for Philly, or I can't wait for this Baltimore game because I'm going there. But you have to really stay focused on the week ahead because if you don't, you're gonna let the week let you. It's gonna cause you to unravel mentally, and then bad things happen in that way. So you're absolutely right. I think the 49ers are going to stay focused, and I think them they're going to really, really take this week to really focus and prepare for this Cardinals game. And the good thing is it's a home game, another home game for the 49ers. So, don't have to travel. They don't have to go anywhere. They're staying home, and that's a good thing. I like these home games. It's a 1:30 start. I think it's going to really do wonders for the 49ers. They had a couple extra days off. I just think overall everything's going to be, in a nice place for the 49ers. Good job. I think good for them mentally, physically. Again, not too many big injuries really to talk about. So I think the 49ers right now, they're in the best place they need to be. They're exactly where they need to be. So, yeah, next 2 games are at home. That's nice. You got the Niners versus Cardinals home game, and then the Niners versus Cowboys. Both of those are 2 big home games. And then, then they go to travel. But they need these 2 games. Absolutely. And again, 1 week at a time. Focus up. You can't get ahead of yourselves. It's a long, long season. 17-game season. It's a long time. Long time. Susan says, it feels like that's the only way our season is at risk with injuries. I think that's always the case, for most teams. But when you're a really good team, one bad injury can really deter. You can really turn things around for you. Look at the Jets. They were supposed to be a Super Bowl favorite. Their quarterback goes down for the year. Although I know he says he's trying to fight back, but Achilles is a season ender for the most part. But look at the Jets now. Like, they're a shell of themselves. Zach Wilson's definitely not a good quarterback, and they're on a whole new level. Like, they're searching. They're searching. Like, yes, they have a good defense, but their quarterback was always their issue. And now they're still searching and scrambling for a quarterback. So one big time player can change things for teams. Although we do have a great team, some probably the best team in the NFL in terms of all the roster positions and depth and stuff. But still, if the 49ers were to lose a big time player, it would alter them. And you can't expect them to be this top seed if they have a major injury. So you're right. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. Like there's no like we don't want to lose CMC. We don't want to lose Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. Like those are key players we can't lose. Now I know the 49ers didn't have Brandon Ayuk. They did have players to step up for him, but if the 49ers were to lose Brandon Ayuk for a long term, I think that would have really, really, really hit him hard. And that's why, again, going back to last week's game, I think it was smart that they, erred on the side of caution and they said, we're going to keep him out. Although he was questionable, like he probably could have played. Honestly, like Brandon Ayuk probably could have played, but a minor injury turning into a major injury would have been absolutely horrible situation. Would have been reckless for them to do that. And I think now the long-term goal is what they're really looking at. And this team is playing smart. They're coaching smart. Everything right now is trending up. Like it's just a different vibe, like we've talked about. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, shout out to them. It's very well deserved that they got those extensions. And I know a lot of people there's still a lot of people out there that don't think Kyle and John deserved those extensions last week. That's not me, man. I'm so happy they got extended. They've really changed the culture of this team. They took over in 2017. And let me tell you, man, this team was absolutely disgusting in terms of the talent on the roster. It was just bad. Sean Jerome, running back, was one of our top running backs. Come on, man. Like, they had no Lewis Murphy. I mean, no disrespect to these guys, but there was just some, like, lackluster rosters. Free agents wanted to come here. They weren't winning. What free agent wants to go to a team that's not winning, especially if in the Bay, when you're getting taxed like crazy? No free agent wants to come to a losing team, and you're going to lose half your paycheck to taxes. It just wasn't happening. A shout out to John and Kyle for turning things around, man. Yep. Blood Moon says, F them haters. Without Kyle and John, this team wouldn't be where we are. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. This team would not be where it is today without John and Kyle. I mean, are they perfect? No. They've made plenty of mistakes. But this team would not be where they are, without those two guys. So I respect them. Jimmy Tomsula. Yo, shout out to Jim Tomsula, though. I think he won some type of he wins something. I think he coaches in another league. I think his team won the championship. Let me see. The Rhine Fire. Let me see. Rhine Fire. They won some coach championship, or they won some championship. Let me see. I think KMBR might have posted this. Let me see. I honestly think that shout out to Jim Tomsula. Check this out. Jim Tomsula won the championship in the European League of Football and was named the Coach of the Year. Shout out to Jim Tomsula. Look at this. He is the Coach of the Year in the European League of Football. His squad, the Rain Fire, they went 14-0 this year, and they won by an average of 27 points per game. That's amazing. Yo, shout out to Jimmy T, man. 14-0 this year, and they won by an average of 27 points per game. Respect. Respect to Jim Tomsula. But yeah, Chip Kelly, though. Yeah, Chip Kelly. He was horrible. But yeah, Jim Tomsula was not a great head coach of the 49ers, but he got thrown into the fire. They kind of made him the scapegoat. The guy was a great defensive line coach. He was a great defensive coach, so I do remember when he was a DC, but I remember when they made him the head coach. I was like, where did they get that? Why would they promote him out of all the people? And, it was kind of, to me, it was like a rash decision. But shout out to Jimmy T. It's nice to see him doing something good for himself. It's nice to see him succeed. He was a good guy. Just wasn't a head coach, in my mind, in the NFL. Susan says, what team hasn't made mistakes? The magnifying glass on this team is unreal. When I watch other elite QBs going 3 and out or throwing picks, I think, man, if that was Purdy, we'd never hear the end of it. Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. And that's the thing. I don't know. The media loves to put the 49ers on a different pedestal. And again, maybe it's because this 49er franchise has historically been one of the top, right? They're always, they were winning Super Bowls. They were one of the best teams. They had all the talent. It's a big market. So, yes, definitely the 49ers are always in this big, big magnifying glass. And sometimes it's not fair, but unfortunately, that's how it is. And the media loves to use the 49ers and rake them over the coals if something goes wrong. And you're right. It's just how the media works. But I think it is because there's such a huge market. I mean, look at the content creators of 49ers. There's tons of us, tons of 49ers content creators. The media market is huge. And I think the media knows that. So they play into it, right? The media knows just how the 49ers media works. And they sometimes play into that. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes I feel like we're looked at a little bit more harshly or we're graded a little bit more negatively. I think the media just loves to pray for the downfall of the 49ers. They really do. They hate us because they ain't us type mentality. They want the 49ers to lose. They pray for the downfall. That's really what it is. And I can't wait till the 49ers win another Super Bowl. So every single one of those doubters and haters can just zip the lips, zip the lips. Zip the lips. The whole NFL hates us. Sometimes it feels like that, Carl. Do I think this season will go similar to the 2019? So far, it's starting out that way, and I feel like this team it might be more talented if you really think about this roster. I mean, look at the roster, top to bottom. You know, you got a great, great, great set of weapons. We all know Kittle, Debo, CMC. The 49ers never had a running back like CMC, right? Absolutely never. Brandon Ayuk is in the prime now, entering contract mode. Offensive line is pretty damn good. You know, you got Trent Williams and Aaron Banks is turning into a Pro Bowler. Jake Brennell's not bad. He looks pretty good. I think he could be a Pro Bowler too if he continues to tighten up a little bit. Right side needs some work. I mean, but there was always a few holes on that 2019 team. All right, Mike McGlinchey. But I think as the season goes on, Burford and Colton Malkovich will get better. So defensive line is just looking absolutely disgusting with Hargrave. The addition of Hargrave was wild. Armstead, Bosa, Jackson, Farrell, and then the rotation has been nice. Linebackers, we know how damn good they are. Greenlaw, Warner, and everybody else. Secondary is not bad. I think they'll get better. They just need a little bit more depth. Maybe if they can get one more guy in the secondary as, midseason comes, maybe they can get a fire sale type guy. I think this team definitely looks like they're on pace with that 2019 team, and they're off to a hot start right now, and that's what that 2019 team did. They got off to an absolutely blistering start, and if the 49ers can, I don't think anybody's going to beat this team in the playoffs. If they get home field advantage, watch out. This team is going to be dangerous, because I think that was what really held this team back over the last few years is they had to travel. Like that 2021 season, man, when they scraped their way into the playoffs, they started off very slow. They scraped their way back, got the miracle win against, the Rams when Ambry picked it off, threw them into the playoffs, and then they had to go on the road against Dallas. They had to go onto the road against Green Bay. They had to go into the road against LA. And by the time they got to the NFC Championship game, they were tired. Same thing last year. They had a few home games, but by the time they got to Philly and then they had to travel, I mean, obviously the injury to Purdy didn't help. But, I mean, by that point, they were just wiped out, man. It's easier to host games and have teams come to you. So I do think that they're on that same pace. They have to stay healthy, and I think right now things are looking good. And obviously the quarterback position, as we've talked about, is a lot better this year than it has been in a long time. I love Purdy, man. I think this team's only going to get better with him. So, good stuff, man. I'm excited. Did I see Armstead breaking down his game check? Yeah, I saw that on TikTok first, and then he posted on Instagram. Boy, he's making a lot of money. It was like $198, $198,000. Sorry, not 198, $198K per game, per week. That's a good 40 hours of work right there. But his taxes are crazy. They take away like $2K in taxes. Wild. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw that video of Arik Armstead breaking down his expenses and the charges and all that. Those taxes in the state of California hit very different. Whoo! Blood Moon says, splash play for Burns or Horn. I don't think they're going to make a move for those guys. That would be cool. I know Horn's on the injured reserve right now, but if he comes back, that's a guy. I've always loved J.C. Horn. I would love to see it. Brian Burns obviously would be cash money on this team, but I don't know. I think if the 49ers are going to make a splash move, it's going to be one position, and it could probably be like cornerback. You know what I mean? They need a little bit of depth in the cornerback position. So, but we'll see. I think right now the 49ers are content with their team unless they have a big injury or somebody else that, that just not doing well that they have to replace or a hole that's really nagging them, they won't really make a move because the year they got CMC, they needed a jolt. Their offense was kind of struggling. Debo was hurt last year, and I think that CMC took them over the edge and made them, even better, an elite team. And the year they got Emmanuel Sanders, midseason, receivers were struggling, they were dropping, and that, lost this, they were just dropping passes, and I think that really made them realize, like, hey, we got to tighten up this wide receiver core, and we needed a strong leader, a veteran, and that's why they brought in Emmanuel. But I think it could be a corner, but it depends because Sam Womack's coming back in a few weeks, Darrell Luther, so they will have some players coming back. You never know. You never know. But I would love to see them get a major cornerback on this team because, again, they got a lot of draft picks, and they're great at drafting late, so, maybe give up a second rounder or something. So. Yeah, Raul says if they trade for J.C. Horn, our defense will for sure be locked down. Horn was my draft crush in 2021. He was mine too. I just wish he could stay healthy because he's such a good player that, if he could stay healthy, that guy's a dog. Hopefully he doesn't have major injuries through the rest of his career. But so far he started off a little sluggish because of injuries. But yeah, he was a hell of a player in college. He was one of my favorite players coming out that year too. So definitely would love to have J.C. Horn on this team. But let's see. I'm going to wrap it up. I guess the Monday night games are starting. It is officially Cardinals week. We cannot sleep on this team. Every game matters. Every game is tough. You can't take any team, any opponent lightly. Do not sleep on the Cardinals. I don't think the 49ers will. They're fresh off a victory over the Cowboys. I love to see it. It was a great week, a great weekend. Stephen A. Smith, high-key trolling the Cowboys made my Monday. So let's see how the rest of tonight goes. Hopefully the Buccaneers can pull the upset off on the Eagles. I'm hyped up. I'm hyped up for next week. We'll talk all about it as the week goes on. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Make sure you hit that like button for me. And you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll see you live a little later, maybe on Instagram. Love you all. Let's go Niners. Bang, bang. Nine again.